Wow, I'm actually waking up early by myself. I can't remember the last time I've done that. I think this trip is doing me lots of good. I think I hear someone downstairs. Might as well go and see what's for breakfast.
Good morning, Austin.
Good morning, Doc.
Here, have some coffee.
Thanks, Doc. Where's Natalie?
She slept at her office. She was too tired to drive back from Los Angeles last night and didn't want to bother going home for just a few hours of sleep. I offered to pick her up, but she said it really wasn't necessary.
I'm guessing she didn't want you to leave Jacqueline alone.
That is correct.
Is she really in such a delicate state?
You can never be too sure. The first day of her nervous breakdown was quite terrible for what I heard. She was throwing stuff around in her dressing room, screaming and crying. She even threatened to kill herself.
Jeez, I knew it was that bad.
She has calmed down a lot thanks to the sessions.
I see.
Talking about sessions, I think it's time we start yours soon. Come meet me at my office when you're done with breakfast, okay?
Sure thing.
Perfect timing, Austin. Come have a seat. Now, where did we leave off?
We were talking about my relationship with women.
Ah, yes, we can continue on that vein in a second, but I wanted to go through more of your background before delving into that.
Sure, Doc. Ask away.
So, you're a university student, correct?
That's right. Majoring in education.
How many years have you been studying?
4 years.
Senior year then, correct? That must mean you're about to graduate?
Unfortunately not. I flunked and pulled out of a bunch of classes, so I'm still about a year away from graduating. That's assuming I take on a full load on the next 2 semesters and I don't fail anything.
Oh, why do you think you failed those classes?
If I'm honest with myself, it's because I was partying way too much during my freshman year. I missed a lot of classes due to hangovers, I never attended tutorials. Then by my sophomore year, I'd racked up way too much on my student debt and had to start working to pay for my living costs.
Didn't it occur to you that failing and pulling out of a lot of these classes would cost you a lot of money?
Of course, I'm not stupid.
Then why did you keep partying if you knew it had have such a negative effect on your studies?
I don't know. It's just too tempting. Your buddies come rolling up in their trucks with kegs of beer, inviting you to go on a frat party where you know you'll probably get laid.
So when you go to a party, you are rather confident you will go home with a girl at night?
Well, I try to score during the party. Or in my car, or maybe in the toilet.
The toilet?
Come on, Doc, don't tell me that you've never had toilet sex.
I have never had toilet sex. The whole concept is entirely unappealing to me. For goodness sake, people shit in there. How can you stand the smell?
The excitement of getting laid pretty much takes over all my other senses.
So, have you considered you might be a sex addict?
What?
Think about it. You told me that you get laid most of the times you go to a party. Now, you're not a bad-looking bloke, but I still find it hard to believe that you're pulling in the most beautiful woman every night. Not every party has gorgeous women, and scoring a beautiful woman every night is pretty damn hard, even when there are there. If I'm not wrong, there are some nights where you fail to charm a decent-looking girl and will go, if you forgive me for the expression, slumming instead. Am I right?
I'd be lying if I said that wasn't true.
So, you'd rather have sex with an ugly girl rather than go home empty-handed, correct?
Dude, I think that's a pretty superficial way of looking at things. I care more about the inside beauty of these girls. I don't only care about their appearance.
Also, the temptation of going out and having sex out trumps your need to stay in and study many nights, correct? I'm sure that there have been many nights that you didn't study for an exam the next day, or may have even missed it due to you being lazy getting laid that night.
Admittedly, you got me there.
Looks like we've made quite the discovery today, haven't we, Austin? You're not just addicted to weed.
Clearly not.
Well, that is all the time we have for your session today.
Are you serious? We were just beginning to get somewhere.
Yes, and I'd like you to meditate on what has been uncovered today. Besides, I heard Jacqueline rustling around. Go see how she's doing.
Hey, Jackie.
Hi, Austin. Any idea where everyone else is?
I was talking to Dr. Lingstad right just now. Natalie spent the night in the city.
Oh, how did you sleep? Did you find your room okay?
Like a baby, thanks. This bed you have here is the most comfortable I've ever slept in.
I'm glad.
How about you? You're up pretty late. Guessing you were up on Facebook the whole night?
Ha ha, very funny. No, I was writing.
Writing new songs?
I don't really write my own stuff anymore. Heck, even on the first album, they heavily rewrote and edited a lot of the songs I wrote.
Oh, really? I thought I heard on one of those shows on VH1 that you wrote all your own stuff.
The marketing team likes to give off this whole image that I'm this grassroots singer-songwriter, but in reality, the majority of my songs are written and produced by a boutique songwriting and production team in Stockholm.
What? I thought you were a country star. Aren't those songs written here in America?
Nah, apparently the Swedes do country music better than we Americans do now.
Who would have guessed?
Right now, the industry is moving heavily towards very produced music, and the Scandinavians really are the best in that field.
Are you okay with this decision?
Initially, it frustrated me a lot when my management team told me that the songs weren't up to scratch. But it was really a no-choice situation for me, as I either worked with their team of producers or they'd cancel my contract.
You should do your own music.
I'm afraid that's not how it works. Only one major label made me an offer, and they insisted I work with their producers. It was either that or they'd cancel my contract.
Makes sense. So, what do you want to do today?
There's a nice burger joint by the beach in Santa Barbara. I'm really feeling like some beef. Wanna go?
Sounds exciting. Let's do it. This place is so cool. What an awesome view.
Yeah, Santa Barbara has some really cool places and fantastic views too. That's why I bought a house around here.
Makes sense. Ah, man, those burgers smell awesome. We should order soon.
You have to order and pay first at the counter here. I think they've had too many cases of people eating then running to the beach without paying.
I can see the temptation. So what do you recommend?
The classic bacon cheeseburger is pretty awesome. I also like the chicken teriyaki burger a lot. Eric often eats the lentil vegan burger. He says it's good. What would you like?
I don't know. Classic bacon?
Yeah, I think I'll have that as well. Be right back.
Like, I was kind of curious if this actually influenced her any. I don't know. Man, things are going really well with Jackie. Really feels like the good old days.
We came in early, so the cook said it wouldn't take too long. 15 minutes or so.
Unless you got there first, my diner would have never have anything out in less than 20 minutes. We were so understaffed, it was insane.
That sounds horrible.
Yeah, it was a pretty sucky job. So how'd you find out about this place?
There's a sister restaurant to this fantastic burger joint I went to in Honolulu called the Aloha Burger Joint. Apparently it's the brainchild of this British Michelin-starred chef that moved out to Hawaii after his restaurant in Manhattan got closed down. They opened this place just this year after the Aloha Burger Joint was named Best Burger Restaurant of 2015.
Very cool. Now my expectations have been raised.
You won't be disappointed.
So, if you weren't writing music last night, what were you writing?
I was writing a short story.
Oh, you do that now.
Yeah. Eric recommended I have a creative outlet for a lot of my emotions right now. And just because of how things have been with me in music recently, I didn't want to do music. So I went with doing some creative writing instead. It's incredibly cathartic.
Can I take a look at what you've written sometime?
Sure. Actually, I brought my notepad with me. Want to read it now while we're waiting for the burgers?
Sounds good to me. Okay, here we go. Laura saw Todd every day in the hallway at her high school, and he was always at the center of a group of girls who were giggling and chattering away. Laura wanted to declare her love to him so badly, but she knew it would never happen. After all, he was Todd Braxton, the star quarterback of Meadowbrook High School, and she was just Laura Jones, nobody. She wasn't an athlete, she wasn't a cheerleader, she wasn't on the student council, she wasn't part of the popular crowd. She felt different from the other kids, and she hung around with Crystal, who was also different because she liked to read horror novels and play the French horn in the school orchestra. Laura did have one thing she could do. She could draw. She didn't care much for computer graphics. She preferred the old-fashioned method of sketching with a pencil and a big notebook she carried around. Sketching was Laura's way of dealing with her emotions. For the past year, she had dealt with her love for Todd by sketching him obsessively. She never did it while he was looking, of course. She'd be humiliated if he ever caught her doing that. No, she had an excellent visual memory, and she had Todd's face and body memorized. She drew him over and over in various poses and expressions, but she showed the sketches to no one except Crystal. She kept her sketchbook in her locker, and she'd take it out if she had a few minutes to spare between classes, or if she had to wait for Crystal to get out of orchestra practice and drive home with her. Sometimes she'd take her sketchbook and sit up high in the stands and watch football practice, drawing Todd in his uniform. Then one day, the worst thing happened. Just as the team was coming off the field after practice, Laura stood up to leave and her sketchbook dropped between the row of seats, and she heard it thud as it landed on the concrete floor below. She ran down the steps of the Pounding Heart, desperate to get the sketchbook before someone else found it. She ran as hard as she could. When she got to the place where she thought the sketchbook was, she couldn't find it. She looked everywhere, but no luck. Then a voice behind her said, "Is this your book?" She turned and saw it was Todd. He looked hotter than ever, in his grass-stained football uniform. "I heard something drop when I was walking to the locker room." He said, "I found this on the ground. Is it yours?" "Yes," Laura said, grabbing from him quickly. She could feel her face reddening and her heart was pounding rapidly. "Thanks," she said. "I'll be going now." "Wait," Todd said, putting his hand on her shoulder. "I looked at some of it. You're really talented." "Thanks," Laura said, blushing even more. "Well, I should be going." "Would you like to design the new mascot for our team?" Todd said. "Coach asked me to do it because I'm pretty good at art, but I can see you're better. Maybe we could work together and come up with some ideas. Would you be interested?" Laura could hardly speak. Finally, she said, "Sure, I'd like that." "Good," Todd said. "How about if we meet tomorrow night at the library in town? We could start working on the project. Is 7 o'clock good?" "Absolutely," Laura said. "I'll be there." She drove home with a smile on her face. She still hadn't declared her love for Todd, but things were definitely looking up. The end. Don't quit your day job, dude.
So what do you think? Oh, thanks. I'm so happy that you liked it. Oh, look, our burgers are here.
Fantastic. I'm starved.
So what do you think? Pretty good, huh?
This has to be the best burger I've ever had in my life.
Right? That dude is a genius. I used to make sure I did extra concerts in Hawaii just to be able to go to his burger joint.
That's so cool. I'd love to live the way you do.
What do you mean?
Like being able to decide to stay in a place a few extra days just to be able to have a burger you like? You're living the dream, Jackie.
I guess you're right.
Step in my life for a day and you'll know I'm right.
Are you not happy with your life?
Not really. I mean, I know there are a lot of people that have it way worse than me, and I'm definitely glad not to be in any of their situations. It's just that it feels like I've been fucking up a lot recently, and that I'm not in control of my life.
We're never fully in control, you know. You just gotta roll with the punches and try to come out on the winning side every time.
Easier said than done.
I guess that's true. Hey, do you mind if we head back now?
Sure. Everything okay? Are you feeling tired?
No, I'm not tired. I just got a really good idea for another short story, and I want to go home and start writing it before I lose it.
Of course. Let's go.
Austin, thanks so much for going out with me. I really love having you around.
She'll probably shoot us down, but let's go for it. Jacqueline turns away and gives you her cheek
I'll
instead.
see you later, Austin.
What is this feeling?
Hey, Austin. Jacqueline just went up?
Yeah, she went to her room to write. Why, you need to talk to her?
Oh, Austin, I always need to talk to her.
Why don't you just knock on her door and talk to her now?
Dr. Lindstad recommended that we leave her be during her creative time. Besides, she's due to have a therapy session in half an hour anyway. I'll talk to her later.
So, how was your time in the city?
Stressful, but productive. I managed to cancel her next 3 shows without incurring any lawsuits. So that's always a win for us here on Camp Crazy. Met up with the people in PR and media and told them how to manage the news backlash of Jackie's concert cancellations. Hopefully they'll do their jobs right and the newspapers stay relatively quiet about all of this.
Busy times. Lots of work this afternoon as well.
No, oddly enough, since Jacqueline's cancelled all those concerts, I'm actually surprisingly free this afternoon.
Cool. What are you going to do with your free time?
My uncle has a vineyard up in Paso Robles. I used to spend summers there when I was a kid. I really should go out and visit him. I haven't seen him yet this year.
Why so?
I've been out on tour for the past few months with Jacqueline. This is our first time back in California this year.
So, does your uncle have a big vineyard?
Yeah, it's massive. Really beautiful cellars he has there too. How would you like to accompany me to Paso Robles?
Yeah, sure. Sounds like it'll be fun.
All right then. I'll take a quick shower and then we'll get going.
Henry Rivers Estate, Paso Robles, California.
Uncle Henry!
Natalie, darling, so good you could come up to the vineyard today.
I'm finally back in town, so I figured I'd drive up to see you.
Lovely. Now who is this young fellow you brought to come visit today? Is this your new boyfriend?
No, he's just a work colleague. Here, let me make introductions. Austin, this is my Uncle Henry.
Hello, Austin. Welcome to my humble vineyard.
It's a pleasure to meet you, sir. This is a pretty amazing place you have.
Thank you. I do try to make it as pleasant as I can.
Where's Aunt Sally?
Oh, she went up to San Francisco for the week on a medical conference. She won't be back until Wednesday next week, I'm afraid. Will you still be around by then?
Perhaps. It all depends on whether Jacqueline is ready to start singing again or not.
Oh dear, is that singer of yours still giving you problems?
That's an understatement.
You do know I've always said that you'd be brilliant in the wine industry. Why don't you forget this silly babysitting job and come up here and work for us? I'm sure you'll have a hell of a better time up here.
I'm fine. I really am.
If you say so, darling. Anyway, how is my little brother doing?
Dad is okay. Still getting used to retirement. Frankly, he hates it. Finds it terribly boring. He's even considering taking up politics.
Ha ha! Well, I could definitely see him becoming mayor one day. That's the river's blood there for you. We're workaholics.
You can say that again.
How's your mother?
Eager to get my dad out of the house. It was her idea for him to run for mayor to keep him busy again.
It's a very good idea, if I do say so myself. Heck, if your father gets elected as mayor, I may decide to finally come back and visit England.
Oh, come on, Uncle Henry. We both know that's not true.
When's the last time you were back in England?
Oh my, I haven't been back in England since 1998. That's nearly 20 years, isn't it?
Aren't you interested to see how things look? Don't you miss England?
Not really. I miss the people and my family, of course, but I have my own way to get round that.
Skype?
What's that?
My uncle pays for everyone in the family to go on a cruise every 3 years, so we all see each other.
What? Everyone?
Yes, everyone. My grandparents, my parents, all my uncles and aunts, and all their children.
Doesn't that cost a fortune?
Nothing more important than family, my boy. Never forget that. I'm proud to spend my money on my family.
Well, it helps when your vineyard sells over 500,000 cases every year, doesn't it, Uncle Henry?
Indeed it does. Anyway, enough standing about. I'm sure you'd like a tour of the vineyard. So this is the main vineyard. We have other properties too, but this is the biggest continuous property.
Impressive. So, what grapes do you grow here?
Oh, you know about winemaking?
I've seen a few shows on TV.
That's good. We mostly grow Chardonnay and Sauvignon Blanc on this property, but I have set aside a bit of land for some Zinfandel vines I'm experimenting with. The chalky and gravelly ground we have here in Paso Robles really does benefit these types of grapes greatly.
Do you guys do blends?
Absolutely. The spirit of winemaking here in Paso Robles is to be daring and exciting and to try new and fantastic techniques. I really feel that Paso Robles represents the pioneering spirit of American winemaking.
Phone rings.
Hello? Ah yes, is it here now? About bloody time. I'll be there in a jiffy.
Everything okay, Uncle Henry?
Yes, nothing major. We've been waiting for a week for our new shipment of barrels to arrive, and they just got here. I have to make sure they are safely transported to the factory floor, so I might have to leave you guys for a while. I'm terribly sorry, Austin.
It's not a problem, sir.
I'm glad to hear that. Natalie, darling, why don't you bring Austin to the tasting room so he can try some of our wines?
So real quick, if you don't know about winemaking, you have to use different barrels each time because the process actually involves drawing the sugar out of the woods, the wood that's used to make the barrels. So after the first batch of wine, all that sugar is consumed and basically the barrel is garbage. So they have to keep using new barrels, hence where that comes into play. There are stories involving wineskins and stuff. If you ever hear those and they don't make sense, that's what they're generally referring to. Because I believe there's even like a parable in the Bible about wineskins.
You seem to know a thing or two about wine. Do you want to just pick a wine yourself, or do you want me to choose?
Your call.
I think you should try one of his blends. This is one of the most recent. blends the 3 main grapes that my uncle grows.
This is really good.
I'll tell my uncle later. So how is it you know something about wine?
I wanted to impress some girls at college, so I went to a few wine tasting events and learned a thing or two about wine so I could hold a conversation during the tasting.
I figured it was something along the lines. So, on that subject, do you have someone special in your life?
I had a girlfriend for the past year, but she broke up with me recently. Actually, she broke up with me the same afternoon that you approached me.
Oh, really? Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Why did she want to break up with you?
Do you not have eyes? She was getting annoyed because she felt like I had no direction and that our life wasn't moving forward.
Oh, so she thought you were a loser.
I never said loser, but I do see where you might have gotten that idea from.
You're not a loser, Austin. You're just someone that doesn't have their priorities set straight.
You really think that?
Yes. After all, you did know a thing or two about these wines. Goes to show you're not a complete arse.
Thanks, I appreciate that.
You're welcome. So, are you still hurting from being dumped?
Yeah, of course, but coming out here to California and being far away from her really helps a lot. Keeps her out of my mind.
I'm glad to hear that this trip has been meaningful for you, in more ways than one.
Thanks.
But don't start taking it easy either. You're here for work, and I really need you to help Jacqueline get back on her feet. You understand?
Yes, ma'am. So how about you? Do you have a boyfriend or something?
Unfortunately, this nomadic lifestyle I'm currently engaged in is not terribly conducive towards having a healthy romantic relationship.
Really? You think traveling so much you get to meet a lot of guys?
Oh, I meet a lot of men, no question about that.
So what's the problem?
Oh, you can be so naive at times, Austin. The problem is a lot of the blokes I meet are either more interested in meeting Jacqueline or are all eager to hear that I'll only be in the city just for a few nights.
And you're not into that?
Not at all. I'd like to get married and have a meaningful relationship with someone, not a series of one-night stands.
I don't know about you, but to me a series of one-night stands sounds awesome.
When you reach my age, you might not feel that way anymore. Or maybe you really are just an animal. I honestly can't tell with you.
So is animal a step up from loser? Just wondering. Admit it, you're attracted to me.
You can be cute at times, I'll give you that. But I'm afraid you're a bit boyish for my liking. Anyway, how do you like the wine?
Yeah, it's really good.
Have you drunk a lot yet?
I haven't had the chance to yet, but been too busy talking to you.
Good. Then please stop drinking.
Why?
I've already put away a few glasses, and I don't think I can drive us home. You'll have to drive.
Aw, man, I want to taste more of your uncle's wines.
Well, then taste away. Just spit the wine into the spittoon when you're done so you don't get drunk.
That's disgusting.
It's what professional wine tasters do to make sure they don't get too drunk. Didn't you do that when you went wine tasting in college?
Nah, I always swallowed the wine. Figured it'd be rude to spit it out.
Fair enough. Well, we really should get going anyway. It's a 2-hour drive home, and I'd like to talk to Jacqueline before she turns in. Thanks for coming with me to my uncle's vineyard. It was nice, wasn't it?
Except for the whole part about having to come home sober, yeah. Yes, thanks for bringing me.
Anyway, I need to go up and talk to Jacqueline. Good night, Austin.
Good night, Natalie. I'm starved. Let's go see what we have in the pantry. Just cobwebs.
Hello there. Did you have a nice time out with Natalie?
Oh no, we just went to our uncle's vineyard. It's not...
Don't look so worried, Austin. Natalie and I don't have that type of relationship at all.
I know, I just...
Are you hungry?
Yeah, super hungry. We didn't eat anything at the vineyard, and we didn't stop for food on the way home. I suppose you and Jacqueline have already had dinner.
Yes, we have. There is some fried chicken and salad in the fridge if you fancy.
Jackpot. I know what I'll be having then. Then off to bed. I'm super tired. So... I hate this scene so much. Okay, I cut out the whole transition thing, but it said the next day. Man, sleeping and waking up early feels great. feel like I have the whole day ahead of me. I can do anything. Maybe I am a morning person.
Good morning, Austin. You're up awfully early.
Yeah, I went to bed really early last night.
Yes, I noticed. The house was dreadfully quiet. Goes to show you've added quite a dynamic to the house.
Really?
Yes, it was a lot quieter before you got here. It's good. You add some volume to the place.
Have you had breakfast yet?
Yes, just finished. Bacon and eggs. Not the healthiest thing in the world, but extremely satisfying. I made extra, so please do. Feel free.
Don't mind if I do.
Well, you enjoy that. I've got some emails I need to attend to. When you're done, go straight through to Dr. Lingstad's office for your session.
Is he waiting for me?
No, he isn't. He just got up very early as well. He's already had breakfast. He's just working on a few things, and he told me for you to go up after you've had your breakfast, so you can take your time.
Thanks, Natalie. Here we go again.
Have a seat, Austin.
Thanks.
I'd like to take a different starting point today, if that's okay.
Well, you are the doctor, aren't you?
So again, where do you study?
Silver Creek Falls College.
And which state is that in?
Insanity. It's in North Carolina. Okay, so they're that $10,000 per week. I think it was $10,000 per week. I forgot what it was Mad Mike made. That actually might last him then.
Ah, yes. Both you and Jacqueline are from around there, right?
Yep.
Weren't you interested in perhaps studying outside of the state?
Not really. North Carolina is home for me, and we have pretty good schools, so I didn't feel the need to leave.
Did you know where Jacqueline applied for college?
She had some ideas, but she already got her contract before the college application process started for us.
Did she mention wanting to move to a bigger city?
Yeah, she had mentioned maybe trying to move to Charlotte or Durham to see if her career could take a step forward.
So, what did you major in?
I'm an education major.
And what made you choose education?
I wanted to make the world a better place. Figured that the best place to start was with educating the next generation.
That's a very valid point, so clearly you are quite passionate about this, aren't you?
I don't know about passionate. It's a word that's thrown around so much these days. But I do know that all of the jobs of all the jobs, that's the one that probably would suit me best.
Okay, so it's not like you're stuck in something you hate. We can say at least that, correct?
Correct.
Then what, aside from the addictions that we have established, do you feel is stopping you from finishing your degree?
I don't know, man. I guess maybe it's a lack of focus. I just keep putting things off. I have real problems with procrastination.
Do you find that many mornings you have a hard time getting up and just want to stay in bed the whole day?
Yes, nearly every morning I feel this, and sometimes I even sleep into the early afternoon.
Even when you have class or work to go to?
Yeah, I miss a lot of classes because of this. I suspect it's the same reason why it's been hard holding down a job, too.
Yes, I think so as well. Do you find you have been eating more than usual as of late and have been shirking away from regular exercise?
I have, but that's not that uncommon. I know a lot of guys that gain weight in college. We call it the freshman 15.
That is true. It has been found out that most people do gain some weight when they go to university. You've just come out of a relationship, right? I think you mentioned it the other day.
Yeah, my girlfriend broke up with me and fired me.
Ouch, double whammy. How did that make you feel?
Initially, I was quite disappointed, then angry at her for firing me. But by the time I went to bed that day, I was quite relieved.
Relieved? Why so?
I hated that job, but she was the one that got it for me, so I kind of felt like I had to keep the job just to keep our relationship going.
Weren't you sad about the breakup?
I suppose I was, but then when Natalie offered me the opportunity to come here, it made me quite happy. In many ways, being out here is the happiest I've been in ages. Felt like my life has been going through a downward spiral for a while, and I just couldn't muster what it takes to pull myself out.
But with this change of scenery, you feel better.
Yeah, I feel a lot better. I know it's not like we're discovering sunken treasure or anything, but all this feels like a big adventure to me.
It is, in its own way. So would you say that on average you felt pretty low energy prior to coming here?
For sure, man. I used to just spend days smoking weed, eating junk food, and binge-watching TV series.
Interesting. I believe you too were suffering from depression.
I think so too, man. I thought so for a long time, just haven't had the money to go to a shrink to confirm it.
You don't need to go to a psychiatrist to confirm that. Most good universities have counselors you can talk to at the student union. You really should have gone there to talk about your problems.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Why? What's wrong with the school counselor?
Dude, I don't want people to think that I've gone nuts either.
Again, that whole stigma with mental health problems.
It's not me, man. It's the people at college. I don't think they understand.
I know, Austin. Relax.
But I'm cured, right? This trip scared me, right?
It's not as simple as that, Austin. Yes, a lot of people feel that their everyday life is bringing them nowhere. So they splurge on a big fancy holiday somewhere and suddenly feel better. But when they go back to their ordinary lives, they soon find that they don't feel better again.
So, what's the cure?
I think that we should veer away from the word cure for now. Like I said before, it's not like I have a magic potion that will make it all better all of a sudden. No, one has to look towards the root of a problem to see what are the causes of the major depression, and find a way to realign one's life so that it follows a more positive path.
I don't understand.
Well, we're going to have to talk about this more in our next session, as our time is up.
You always do this. You always stop the session just as we begin getting somewhere.
Believe me, Austin, if we sat and talked for 2 hours instead of 1, you would still feel like this. A 1-hour time period is perfect for getting good progress.
Hey, Austin. How did your session with Eric go?
You know that I'm getting therapy?
Well, I've seen you go into Eric's office and spend an hour in there talking.
Yeah, Natalie's idea.
Yeah, that's Nat for you. A bit of a control freak. Probably wanted Eric to analyze you and make sure you weren't nuts.
Makes sense. I can see why she may have been concerned.
I think it was a bit much. I mean, you're my ex-boyfriend. I would have told her if you were insane. Anyway, do you want to go for a walk again? I feel like going out.
Yeah, sure. Where do you want to go?
How about we go back to the park we went to a few days ago? I really want to try that ice cream parlor on the way there. We could pick up a few cones and have them while we sit at the park. Sound good?
Hell yeah. Thanks again for paying for our ice creams.
You're very welcome. Of course, had I known you were going to order a triple scoop parfait with brownies and a waffle on the side, I might have thought twice about offering to pay.
Oh, sorry,
I'm kidding, Austin. My last album went platinum. I think I can afford a luxurious ice cream order.
Of course.
This is the new me. I do jokes now.
Yeah, it kinda caught me by surprise. You never used to joke much.
Yeah, I was a bit serious back then. Hang out in Hollywood long enough and you find out that serious people don't make too many friends.
It's not that you were that serious, just a bit introverted.
Another sin here in Hollywood. I'm a bit surprised you asked me out back then.
Really? Come on, you were the prettiest girl in our class.
I don't know about that. Jeannie was really cute and all the guys were nuts over Debbie. I'm pretty sure both had a crush on you at different times.
Debbie talked way too much, and Jeannie lived so far away.
Are you serious? You turned down the prospect of dating Jeannie just because she lived in the next town over?
Yeah, I didn't have that type of gas money. Besides, didn't mean I wasn't open to have a fling with her. Doesn't mean I wasn't open to have a fling with her.
Jeannie isn't that type of girl. She wanted a real boyfriend.
Exactly, so I never paid her any mind.
So I heard that you were quite the stud in college.
Who told you that?
No one. I saw photos of you with all your ex-girlfriends on Facebook. You really should delete some of those after you break up with these girls.
I didn't really know that was a thing.
Your last girlfriend's really pretty. Kelly, right?
Yep, that's her.
I love her hair. Very stylish.
I'm sure she'll be glad to hear America's sweetheart likes her hair.
Do people still call me that?
Maybe just in the South.
Oh.
How about you? Are you dating anyone?
Well,
I promise I won't spill the beans to any tabloid newspapers or silly magazines.
I'm not dating anyone right now.
Really? Now that is hard to believe.
No, it's true. I've been staying away from dating for the past half year or so.
You could have any dude you wanted. Why stay away from dating?
First of all, that's not true. There's been a lot of guys that I've been interested in during the last couple of years, and a lot of them have chosen not to return my phone calls.
Really? How does that even happen?
Admittedly, a lot of them were famous actors and musicians too, so they had their pick of the litter. And clearly I wasn't their choice.
Really? Like who?
I'd rather not say. I mean, I do trust you, but it's the type of thing I'd prefer the tabloids don't hear about.
I understand.
But even some of the more normal guys I dated didn't just take to me just because I was a superstar. I mean, you remember how quiet I was when we first started dating?
Yeah, I do. thought we were just enjoying nature.
Well, unfortunately, a lot of these guys didn't see it that way. Anyway, I'm a lot happier now that I'm not dating. I really hated how the paparazzi would follow me around and publish any encounter I had with any man as a date.
Yeah, I can't imagine that's a lot of fun.
Not at all.
So, have you been doing any writing? Any progress with your new short story?
I wrote a little bit, but haven't really gotten further than that.
Are you considering a career change?
I don't know about that. I mean, I really enjoy writing these short stories a lot, but I don't know if people would pay for these stories.
Makes a nice collection of short stories. Might be nice.
Yeah, it might.
Jackie, you can do anything you want with your life. Don't feel boxed in just because so many people expect you to live a certain way and do certain things. You're super talented, young, and healthy. The world is yours. Live the life that you want.
Thanks for that, Austin. You always know just what to say.
I try.
So you never actually answered my question earlier. How are your sessions with Eric going?
I'm learning a lot about myself, that's for sure.
Like what?
Well, apparently I'm depressed, which is why I have such problems motivating myself to sort my life out.
Really?
Yeah, why are you smiling?
Sorry, it's not that I'm happy to hear you have depression. It's just somewhat comforting to hear that someone else near me understands what I'm going through. Sorry if that sounds selfish.
It's fine, I understand.
Thank you for understanding. It just makes me feel less alone in this, is all.
So, are you feeling better than before? Seems as though you are.
I think so. Writing these short stories has been really cathartic for me, and I've been able to express a lot of my feelings and emotions through it.
Well, that's good to hear.
Austin, you're always so good to me. Thanks for being such a great friend.
Jacqueline gives you a peck on the cheek.
Let's sit here a bit longer.
Perfect timing. Are you ready for your therapy session?
Yep, let me freshen up first if that's okay.
Of course. Meet me in my office when you are ready.
She seems to be in brighter spirits. Whatever you're doing, Austin, it seems to be working.
We'll talk about her. She's a lot better now, isn't she?
Definitely. Hopefully she'll come back on stage soon.
I can tell that you really have a lot invested in this.
You bet your ass I do. She's my sole source of income. I actually earn a percentage of her gross earnings, so when she cancels concerts or delays albums, I lose out on my own income.
But you must do quite well. I mean, her albums sell in the millions, so you must do okay.
Yeah. To be honest, I do complain a lot, but I do realise that actually I do pretty well and make a lot more money than I dreamt I would as a child.
What did you dream of becoming when you were a kid?
Oh, you're not going to believe this, but I actually dreamed of being a teacher.
Oh, really? Why didn't you push through with it?
Well, first of all, I was a child at the time, so I really didn't know how much work was involved in being a teacher. Secondly, I had an aunt that was a teacher, and when I found out how much she worked and how little she made, I knew teaching wasn't for me.
Oh,
Oh, don't get me wrong, I'm not belittling your profession, it's just I feel one really needs to have a passion for educating our youth. And I really wasn't passionate about it at all.
makes sense.
Anyway, I'm a bit sleepy now, so I think I'm going to take a nap.
Oh, I thought you'd be less tired given you have less work these days.
You'd think, right? No. Lying about the house waiting for things to happen is far more tiring, I'm afraid.
I know what you're talking about.
Oh, before I forget, I got you a little gift. Here you go.
Ah, you shouldn't have.
Well, what do you think?
A Cheech and Chong DVD box set.
Right up your alley.
Very funny.
I saw it in the bargain basket at the petrol station on my way here. I simply couldn't resist it.
Man, I actually really love Cheech and Chong movies, but I couldn't let her know that her assumption about me was correct. Looks like I'm going to the movie marathon tonight. If you guys are curious about Cheech and Chong, just know they're stoner movies if you've never seen them before. Funny thing is, when I looked in the forums, this was the first, well, people made complaints about the game, and this was the one thing they all agreed on, and the one thing the devs would not touch. Yeah.